the villains.
No, they're too close together up top.
Oh my gosh! Oh shit!
You didn't expect to
Ah,
slide back.
yes. Oh my god.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tiki Talk After Show. You guys just watched episode 1 of Survive the Island, season 3. I'm here with season 2 winner, Mischief.
Hello, I am Mischief.
Yeah, in this episode, a lot happened. Some controversial stuff to end it, but let's kind of start with the beginning. Everyone's kind of introducing themselves, meeting people for the first time, and obviously you're playing 4v4. We had a crazy round 11, which was interesting. That was between Mango and Twilight. What are your thoughts on those two teams? I mean, just
Between
vaguely.
Mango and Twilight.
Yeah, like I mean, they were very closely contested in that specific matchup.
Yeah, no, like honestly, it could have gone either way. It was really interesting to see how things panned out. More so, I was very curious to see how the teams would kind of play off of each other and with each other and stuff. I wanted to see kind of who would play a little more selfishly and who would make the big plays. But I mean, as we all guessed, I mean, Mango, you have Growler, and Twilight, you have Reflectory, and that's like, again, it's kind of like a Battle of the Titans type situation. But I mean, it was a fantastic matchup for sure.
Yeah, that one was weird, and it came down to a 1v1 in a round 11, which rarely happens, but it was actually pretty fun to see. So, if you want to check out the VOD of that should be up tomorrow, I think. That said, we did have our first hidden immunity offer, which is new this season. We offered it to Sarah Love. And do you want to break down kind of what the challenge was for her, and how that all went?
Yeah. So again, we kind of conspired to figure out what kind of immunity challenge we should come up with. Something that's reasonable, something that's going to be a challenge, but also can be completed. So we brought in Sarah, and the task was, in order for her to gain an immunity idol, she had to kill each of her teammates one time throughout the series. She only had to kill each person once. It could have been during any of the maps, but it had to be completed before the end of the series.
Yeah, and it seemed like she kind of forgot about it till map 3. We didn't track any team kills up to that point, and so at that point, I was personally like, I don't know if she remembered. I don't know if she's going to be able to do it at this point. So I was a little worried about it, but she killed Siege, and then I think she knifed Morg, but she couldn't find Marv in the end, and there is some debate as to whether Marv was doing that on purpose or not, because we can let you guys know that she did inform her team about the challenge ahead of time. So that does call into
Yeah.
question that strategy going forward for these players.
Yeah, I mean, we gave her a disclaimer that, she can either use the information to leverage herself, or she can keep it to herself to leverage her position. So it's really up to the person receiving it whether or not they want to leak that information, depending on where they are in the game and what their strategy is. She did indeed leak it to her team immediately, which it's interesting. I think in the very beginning of the game, I think it was a move to gain trust from her teammates. Um, I think it would have been a really solid move if she turned around, told her teammates whether she completed it or not. If her team went on to win, uh, I, I I honestly think it would have been a good move. Her team would have known that she's like open and honest and nothing was going on behind the scenes. And if she did want to make a big move down the line, I think no one would suspect it. But she did inform her team, and it kind of seems like after the series that Marv was kind of avoiding her a little bit. But again, it's open to debate, and we don't really know.
Yeah, and obviously unfortunate that she was unable to play the second game, and without that idol that could have saved her from elimination, she did end up going home because she couldn't play. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and so Sarah Love was her first elimination. Were you surprised by it, and kind of like what were your expectations for her going into the game, and how it all kind of played out?
I was definitely surprised. I know her and D Boone are kind of like a solid duo in and out of game. So I thought maybe he would have coached her. And in the first podcast, I even said they're kind of like a bit of my dark horses here, and I think she's going to play it really smart and tactically. And I don't think her telling her team about the immunity was a bad move. I just think it was kind of like she became a victim of circumstance because her team did start to kind of lose out against the other teams, which, I mean, you tell your team, hey, if I kill you, I get an immunity idol. I mean, if you're on her team, you're kind of like, all right, survival of the fittest here. Our team's losing out. I don't want to be up for elimination, so I'm not going to let you have an immunity and you know worsen my chances to a 1 in 3 chance of going home. But I was definitely a little surprised. I think she was doing really well. She was playing very solidly throughout the maps, especially with someone who I didn't really expect to have like a crazy amount of experience. Um, but again, it's kind of unfortunate. It was interesting and a little bit of a shock to me for sure. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely shocked. I think Tiki as a whole played worse than I was expecting coming in. Obviously, I wasn't like ranking them number one out of the three tribes, but I definitely thought that they would show up a little more than they did. And who knows what went into that, whether it's just early team chem or whatnot. Yeah, I was surprised to see her go out first. Obviously, it's hard to say it was all her fault because she didn't actually get to play the second series. But yeah, just I'd say overall unfortunate kind of
Yeah, I wouldn't
turnaround.
completely say it was all her fault. Again, I just think it was a little bit of a victim of circumstance, looking at her team, like who knows if she was on another tribe and that's how the cards fell, maybe it would have gone differently. And again, there was like other factors going on, but who knows? I would say, just a little bit of unluckiness and again, her team just losing, I guess, the first match. It's like a culmination. But it's unfortunate. Definitely don't think it's all her fault, though.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, she's the first eliminated, and we'll probably see her at some point down the line. But to let's start talking about some teams and what we thought about how they interacted. And we saw in the episode that, I mean, to be honest with you, Twilight didn't really talk to each other a lot. Mango didn't really talk to each other a lot. The team that, in my opinion, talked the most to each other was Tiki, and they performed the worst. Um, but with Twilight kind of not talking to each other a lot, who do you think's the outsider on that team as of now?
On Team Twilight?
Yeah.
Hmm. Uh, you know what? I gotta say, during the first series of watching them together, I see two outsiders, right? So I do feel like Reflect is kind of a hop in, you got a job to do, get the job done, get out type guy, like very straightforward, very robotic.
Hmm.
Um, Whereas I also think kind of a bitch to kill. I think she's a little kind of more withdrawn from the team, whereas I don't think she has as much chemistry with the other three. I know she knows Reflect from, past seasons and stuff, but I would say right now, slightly on the outs, it would have to be bitch to kill. Um, but I gotta say, between like Mango and Tiki, like Tiki definitely, I mean, God, they had so much chemistry together. They were vibey, they were all kind to each other. Yeah, I mean, Marv talks so damn much, and then Morg, Siege, and Sarah, they were so vibey. So it's really cool to see how the kind of team dynamics worked out.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, s- being in Mango's talks as well and hearing how they interacted, I mean, honestly, I think it's the same boat. Like, Mystery, it will kind of seem to be a little more on the outs. Obviously, you have Love Wins, Prime, and Growler. They've all played together before. They're all pretty close. And then you add Mystery in there. And it didn't seem like it went super well to start. Obviously, that can evolve. And it's kind of week one's a little weird because it's like if you're not, you're just trying to win is kind of the main goal. Everything
Yeah,
else
yeah.
doesn't really come into a little later when you're like, all right, now I got to start thinking who I'm going to team with. Um, so I see some worries for Mystery here um, as the season goes along, trying to
Yeah,
build that up.
I definitely agree. I feel like there could be something kind of brewing in the Mango camp. I guess we'll just kind of have to see like what comes of it. Uh, but you know what? Like I can't lie. With Team Twilight, maybe that's the way to go this season. Team Tiki. They lost Sarah. They were super vibey, getting along and everything. And Team Mango, again, it seems like Mystery's a little on the outs right now. We don't know. And you have the other three who have a lot of chemistry together. But Team Twilight, again, they seem kind of like Terminators, get in, get the job done, and just go home. And, it kind of takes a little bit of emotion and camaraderie out of it. But, I mean, it's a dog eat dog game. So that
Hmm.
could work out for them in the end.
It could, and I can definitely see it getting weird when we get to a point where it's like, are they gonna stick to their initial tribes, or are they just gonna go with pretty much the highest bidder and play with whoever because they don't care? Um, and so that'll be definitely interesting to see as we get deeper in it. So, last kind of thing I want to talk about is there any budding alliances that you've seen? Because, like you said, there's some disconnect, it seems, but there's got to be some people that you're like, well, that seems like an alliance forming.
Yeah, so I want to say the biggest alliance I see forming right now has to be Morgan Siege. I mean, they're both vibey people. They're hanging out. You know, uh, they're playing in and out of league and stuff. So they're getting their chemistry up, um, which I think could be a really good thing, but could possibly be an extremely detrimental thing because, again, everyone knows it's only one person wins king of the island at the end of the day. One person wins the title, and although getting close to someone and just kind of vibing with them, hanging out, and kind of shooting together, getting that like in-game chemistry up, um you kind of make yourself a bit of a liability. You're putting your neck out for someone else. But that's definitely what I've noticed. They're both vibey people. Siege seems to be very easygoing. Morg is very open to learning the game. I know she's kind of like newer-ish to it. But
Hmm.
I think that's like a really solid duo that I think, going forward, other teams and other people who start to team up as the game goes on, I think they got to watch out for that for sure. That could be really dangerous.
Yeah, for sure. And there's obviously some pre-existing kind of expected alliances if they make it further in the game. You got people like Love Wins and Bitch to Kill. Even like Marv has some ties to Reflectory. I mean, I think Marv plays a specific way that might hinder that, but overall, I mean, I'm just excited to see how it goes. Obviously, the
Now,
first episode is a little weird in that
I
sense,
wanted
but
to ask you this, and again, this could come way further down the line in the game, but do you see a possible Siege and Growler duo forming?
yeah, I mean, they teamed for a while in this game, probably the longest running duo that could
And what do you
form.
think happens to Morgan in that situation?
It depends. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, we can get to a place where it's top 9 and teams get shuffled. You just don't really
Mhm.
know what's going to go on. So, yeah, it's going to be
Exciting
weird for
stuff.
sure. But yeah, that's kind of going to do it for us here in the first episode. Obviously, we're just here to recap everything that happens in the episode, maybe give you a little more insight into what's going on, and get you ready for next episode. And that'll be next Sunday at 8 o'clock. You got anything else, Mischief, to wrap up episode 1?
No, thank you everybody for watching. I miss you.